right, so welcome back, y'all. This is hour number 2 for Tampa Home Talk, and our appraiser was listening and had to pop on in. Let's get back to this real estate rant, shall we?
Yeah, dive right in, Katrina.
So we were talking a little bit about, I had a past client, I don't know how much you heard, Danielle, but they keep getting outbid for cash. And a lot of the things we're seeing right away in choosing an offer, if it's not cash, is what are you willing to do if we have an appraisal shortage? Because that's a very real thing that we're seeing right now. And some of them are terrible. Like the bank appraisals are awful, awful, awful.
Yeah, how dare you? No, I'm just kidding.
The one with the local lenders, because I think they're sending AMCs from who knows wherever.
I know for a fact that right now there are quite a few appraisers coming from Sarasota to appraise in Newport Richey. That's a problem. That's appraisal management companies picking the cheapest appraiser and the quickest appraiser and not the most qualified appraiser.
Are they really cheap if they have to travel for 2.5 hours?
Absolutely, because we can just drive in a circle. I can get to Sarasota. It doesn't matter how much time I'm down there. If I have 5 inspections down there, I've made $2,000 to go to. I've made $2,000 to go to Sarasota today. So there's a lot of reasons for it, but there are 7,000 appraisers in the state of Florida. We should not be taking appraisers outside of their geographic competency. And I cover as far north as Orlando and as far south as Sarasota, but I don't do that on a regular basis for everybody. I did expand within my career.
Orlando east of here, though?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Northeast.
I mean, here's the thing. We're seeing, there's always a range, right? When we go in to look at a property value, there's a high, there's a low, and there's kind of that median number. And right now we're able to price everything on the upper end of the market because it's taking it, looking at our numbers. And we're still getting sometimes as many as 14, 15. We had 29 offers. Remember that one couple that came in, we sold their St. Pete property? They actually were radio show listeners. That's how we connected. And we got 29 offers on their home. And literally, we ended up taking only cash. So I was saying in the last segment, Danielle, that, you don't have to actually pay cash. You could write a cash offer, which means you don't have a financing contingency. And you're guaranteeing that your loan's going to go through. And you can do that. If you're solid enough, you're putting your escrow deposit on the line. So it's a risk. But it's a risk you might need to take in this market. So,
if you're willing to be the next highest comp, go for it. Pay that cash.
Well,
go for it.
They are. I mean,
but don't make it the appraiser's fault because the appraiser's there to assess risk for the bank that you bailed out 10 years ago. So when we have to bail those banks out again, who are you going to point the finger at?
I don't agree. What
happens if we do? You don't see any predatory lending in the market right now.
I'm not seeing what we saw in 08.
Oh, I do.
We're not in that market.
I'm seeing it.
Stated income
New construction.
Loans. Stated income loans.
Yep. New construction. New construction is selling from, I won't name names, but they're selling from builder to builder to make their own comps. That's predatory lending when they are the lender and they have within 2 years of you owning your house, you have to refinance. We're seeing those people lose their homes now.
I don't understand that because we're seeing too much cash in the market. And I'm thinking about this from a logical perspective, right?
Yeah.
I'm putting $300,000 of my own money, cash, real money, on a property and I'm paying cash. Even if that market dips, I'm not going to take 180 for it, which is what.
But in 2003, you did. And from 2003, 4, 5,
if you paid cash,
it went up and up and up. And I have plenty of clients that paid cash in Water's Edge in Newport Richey, paid cash to build a $400,000 house that is still to this day not worth $400,000. But
did they sell when that market was 180?
Yes, a lot of them foreclosed, and investors came in.
How can they foreclose if they paid cash?
They refinanced their homes because they needed that cash back.
That's a whole different
The ones that paid cash and are still there today have never made back a nickel of their home.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's happening again.
We're seeing people that have sold their property in other markets. They're bringing the cash here. And, we're telling people don't use your house as an ATM. We said that back then.
We've said, and I'm saying it again today. I'm saying it today. And I'm actually telling people if you have to have the house because you have nowhere to live, go for it, overpay. But if you are expecting a real estate appraiser to match your bidding war, It's not going to happen.
So you can tell clearly the appraisers have completely different opinions.
We have a totally different opinion because we go to federal prison for doing our job wrong. And the housing crisis taught us one thing. Yeah. The FBI comes and investigates every single house that went into foreclosure that I appraised. I was investigated.
So I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying you shouldn't use within the realm of the comps you have. All I'm saying is the buyers that we are seeing in this market that are legit buyers, not stated income, they are real buyers with real cash or real down payments, are having to make up the difference to be competitive in the appraisal.
I think it's a silly time to really just jump on. There's enough inventory to go around, but not in specific.
Wait a minute. No.
In specific pockets. Not in specific pockets.
Triggered.
Well,
Triggered.
Adam,
wait a minute.
Adam.
Head on up to 52. You could get affordable housing, and there's plenty of inventory.
Who wants to live off of 52?
Well, once that Ridge Road extension connects,
it'll get better.
And what's going to happen to Water's Edge and the brand new townhomes that are being built right next door to it, and what's going to happen to North Pasco and south of Hernando?
It's going to grow.
It's going to boom because there's no affordable housing left.
And the appraisers are going to keep it affordable, is what I just
that's
heard.
Not
What I
that's
just
not
heard.
That's not. We don't have the ability to do that. If the comp is there, we use it.
The minute we have a buyer like
I want your cash buyers to make those comps for me. Get them to buy. Go for it. I need your sales.
They are, and finance buyers paying the difference. They're making it too.
And so those cash buyers are actually inflating the market, just like they did in the housing crisis the last time.
I don't know. We didn't see that much cash back then. We did not.
I saw enough of it, and right now what I'm seeing is
let me ask you a
millionaires are dropping millions in cash.
Okay, so that's the difference. An appraiser would not really normally see the deal or be involved in it if it's cash, because there's not an appraisal required.
Today,
so the only time you're seeing it back then is if somebody is cash out refining. Which is why I can
we're
see.
in a niche market. I do a lot of private appraising, and I have a huge attorney base. And the real rich people that pay cash, they have an appraisal done. They don't do this blindly.
On the upper end. But if if you're in that middle range, and you've got plenty of comps to support it.
I have a cash deal on my desk right now for $125,000 in a condo. And I told them the value is 100% there. You know why they do have an agent. You know why the agent sent them to me. Do you know why they want the appraisal?
Okay.
If you pay cash and you get an appraisal, the market dips, you now have proof of your loss.
What does it have to do with anything?
Taxes. Tax shield in the future. Yep. It's a tax. It protects that cash and that buyer, and at least lets them write it off.
Okay.
So a smart agent's always going to send them my way to have that little tax paper that they need. You send them my way. I had one last week from you.
We do get some. Yeah. I will tell you, a lot of times though in this market, the deal is you get the house. Like you get a contract. Because right now,
if you've got cash, you're buying. But a lot of cash buyers right now want a discount.
7 days, Danielle.
I know.
In 3 counties, we had 1,675 homes go pending, but we only had 1,055 new ones come on the market.
It's definitely, there's a lack of inventory, but I do know, Spring Hill, Hernando. I'm trying to say this with a straight face. It's going to be the newest, hottest place to live because it's the only affordable place left to live.
We have springs. I mean, it could be a cool.
And hills.
Yeah, and hills. Springs and
sinkholes.
A lot of sinkholes. That's what I was thinking.
Sinkholes.
So we should go back to that for just a minute because I did see one yesterday, all cash buyer, different client that we've been talking about, sold their house from, I forget where they moved from, Texas, I think, paying cash here, and lost his job, right? So sold their house there, paying cash here. That's where they're going to live, no debt, no payment.
You see no problem in any of this conversation that you just said. He lost his job and used all his cash to buy a house.
He worked for Fossil Watches. Some of those are going to be some of the first ones to go. Who cares if he's paying cash for his house? He's going to live there, right, with no housing payment.
With no housing payment, but no way to pay for the utilities either.
No, they'll get a different job.
They'll get solar panels. They'll put a generator in the backyard.
So
they'll drill for their own. They'll frack for their own propane.
One of the properties we were going to make an offer on had a sinkhole, and it said that basically it wasn't that one, but it was 2 owners back. They did disclose it. but the engineering reports, and I want to touch on this really quick. We're going to have to do it and come back after the break.
813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775. Text the word soapbox.
No. We're going to talk
about... Text the word soapbox.
Okay.
We're on it.
I have a very relevant point to make, and you will agree with me when we come back after the break, so just watch.
I already agree with you.
This is Tampa Home Talk. Danielle knows where I'm going with this. Stick around. 813-377-2775. And Regina will join us for segment 2. Back in a moment. Stick around.
Poor gutter guys. I have got to run out of
tip of the week. Well, good morning. Welcome back. Leo Kane here with Beryl Engineering and Inspection.
Okay. We're going back to this.
Going back to...
Okay, so
813-377-2775. Text the word soapbox. Go.
So we were talking about going further north. We all know the genetic makeup's a little different of that soil. Mm-hmm. There are more sinkholes in those northern counties. Mm-hmm. And so, Leo, you're the engineer, so tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. If that, and you've seen it, so I think you might know what I'm going to say, but there was a sinkhole repair, right? And so the agent's saying, we have all the engineering docs. It's fully insurable, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. My number one question is, who did the sinkhole repair? Are they still in business, and is that warranty transferable?
Warranty schmoranty is what I say about that. There are no real warranties on the work. As far as the...
Wait, let's talk more about that.
And as far as who did the repair, that's kind of irrelevant. As long as there was a permit pulled...
What if they're not in business anymore?
Irrelevant. There's no warranty.
No, most of them aren't.
Yeah.
It was a big scam anyways.
Yeah, so basically you have your engineering
crime.
report that's validating the installation. The installation was done at the time by a licensed contractor. That's what's important. Doesn't matter if they're still in business. There is no warranty. So you've got a repaired home.
So let's imagine that you're a buyer. You want to buy in Hernando County, known for sinkholes, right? Or Spring Hill or some
Or known
areas.
for scams.
Let's just say that's what it is,
Let's
right?
just say
and
Leo's
so, like,
evil twin with the goatee.
Yeah.
Because Leo would never buy in Spring
well,
Hill.
But
literally,
Theo may.
Theo with the goatee might buy in.
In the Hernando MLS, it literally says sinkhole yes or no, remediated yes or no. Not kidding. It's a required field.
It's a very required field for an appraiser.
So basically, Leo, if
Theo.
you're
Theo.
Mr. Theo,
yes.
if you're buying in that area, and a house has had a lot of the agents I've talked in that area say one that's had a repaired sinkhole is better than one that's never had one.
Leo would say that too.
And so, what does Theo say? Like, would you?
If Theo was going to buy in Hernando County, Theo would be looking for a remediated home.
You would.
Because the sinkholes are so prevalent up there. I mean, you got to think, like here in...
If there's grout injections, right? Not just underpinning?
Well, when I say remediated, that's grout injection.
Fully
Underpinning
remediated,
does not... You can grout inject without underpinning, and you've stabilized the soil. You underpin,
Right.
all you've done is put toothpicks in the ground.
Correct. But so let's describe that
Expensive
really.
toothpick.
So if you're
Expensive
going to buy in Spring Hill, you're going to automatically go to the repair.
Theo.
If Theo
Exactly.
would.
The idea is if you're going to move to Spring Hill, you might as well just buy one that's already
If you have
remediated
one
versus one that's never been checked.
If you have one that's been repaired, they've identified an issue, they've remediated an issue, and you've got all this extra concrete in the ground stabilizing your soil.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, though.
Or for Leo or
Why
Theo?
does it seesaw?
This one's for Leo about Theo.
Okay.
Theo wants to buy this remediated house. all
Theo
right?
is doing the right thing.
He's doing the right thing, right? Real heady decision here. But the sinkhole was 2 or 3 owners ago. They don't have the engineer's report. So
How much can you give them the county?
What do you do with that? Because, okay, you want to buy the house. Theo wants to buy the house. That's fantastic. But he's not a cash buyer. So insurance is required. Citizens, as we discussed
They
in the
want the
last
engineer
hour,
report, right?
they want an engineer report. They want your firstborn child, your blood type. I mean, anything they can do. You know, they want to know if you've had coronavirus
Theo's not
or
buying
not.
the home. I mean, ultimately either Hernando County, Spring Hill, or Hudson will have to have a copy of the permit information that can be pulled from their records, or
Which would include the engineering
which would
information,
include the
right?
engineering information, or Theo's not buying the home because the insurance companies won't go just on permit alone.
Right.
So
Oh, God,
Which
no.
is smart.
How expensive
Thinking
is
about
that?
Do you know how
insurance,
many?
I wouldn't
Do you know how
do
many
that.
people pull the permit, never do the work?
how expensive
gotta
is it
close
to
the permit.
pull?
The
Because
permit
you can
stays
go
open forever.
Because you can go online and see that there's a permit, but how expensive is it to pull the
It's a
the
public
report
record
from
search.
the?
I mean, they could charge you 10 cents a page, or if it's digital, you can just download it yourself. Depends on how long ago it was and if they have the records. So it's not
worth
that
every penny.
it's not that expensive to do your own engineering tests, though, because of the way the soil structure is. Here, you've got like 30, 40 feet. You've hit lime rock. Up there, you can go 120 feet and not hit lime rock, and you can get what's called a chimney sinkhole, where you actually have this just cavern that appears, and then it shifts in a different direction, then it continues going down. So you could actually have a piece of a sinkhole on your property, and the actual top of the sinkhole could be on your neighbor's.
Wow.
That's a chimney sinkhole.
And who pays for that?
Well,
You hope it takes both houses
when you're-
catastrophic, call it
I
a
hope they
day.
put so much grout under
when
there
you're
that it fills all of it.
remediating, and I say this to people all the time, when you're remediating, it doesn't know to stop at the property line. It's going to fill the voids. So
That's what I was thinking. So when you're filling, they just keep filling until it stops, right?
pretty
Yes.
much. Or they hit some dollar limit, and then they have to reassess. But yeah, so when you
My sister, in Safety Harbor, she filled in herself and 3 of her neighbors.
What?
All
No,
the houses
that
around
is
her.
Well,
not-
They were
Safety
just
Harbor-
dumping. They were just dumping it, and they drilled right into the middle of her kitchen, and they were just dumping and dumping.
Safety
for
Harbor is
days.
completely different. See, when we're talking
Days.
about sinkholes in this region, Safety Harbor is completely different. Safety Harbor is clay-formed sinkholes. Everywhere else in the area is karst, which is limestone-formed sinkholes. So with Safety Harbor, sinkholes are exceedingly common, but they're not very dangerous because it's all clay shifting movement. They still need to be remediated, but that's why you see so many.
But when you remediate
not
yours,
huge
you basically
voids.
remediate all of your neighbors at the same
Yeah,
time
pretty much.
because it spreads underneath the homes, and there's nothing you can do about it.
If you look at a diagram of sinkholes, and this will make sense, it kind of looks like veins really
Yeah.
running underneath the soil. And so that grout injection or concrete fills all of those voids
that.
so you have stable soil.
yeah.
Good drawing picture
Putting
for
new
radio.
footers in.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We have to get to Regina, y'all.
Yeah, before we
she's
bring
back.
the gutter people in.
Yes.
We have got to
So-
get Regina in. She's fun.
So we should ask your partners there if they can do the risk, right, for the sinkholes besides citizens.
You can ask him that question.
She's like, I'm out. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing insurance. We'll leave it to the experts. Insert Exhibit A.
So,
Right here.
so Walkabout temporarily closed. You guys are reopening the crate in December.
Fingers crossed. December, January.
Plan. Okay.
Yeah. That is
And
the
so
plan.
now you're working with Kevin temporarily, right, at AIU, or at least
Yeah, Kevin,
for
the
a
little
while?
Italian stallion at AIU. Yes,
Yes.
I'm working with him.
And so, talk about this. So a lot of companies really. Well, you dive. I know you got a couple points you want to cover. I'll let you do it because we're short on time.
All right. So I'm helping Kevin and I'm working at AIU Insurance, and they're a national wholesale. You had Brian, one of the partners, in here earlier, and he was talking about PEO. What I do, and I'm helping them with, is to expand on their payroll. So they offer AIU payroll solutions. They come about this service because I noticed that other service providers in the payroll area were actually going in, giving people good payroll, not a problem with that, but then they were also going and talking to them about their insurance. So what we do, because we're an insurance wholesaler, we offer insurance to you. You know all about this, my friend.
yeah.
You're
Oh,
one of
yeah.
us,
Oh,
hey?
yeah.
So what we did was
He's
to
been
stop
excited
that.
about the last hour.
I know. It's all about insurance. So he's like he's like Leo
Gets the
with.
geek out, yeah.
With
You know-
literally anything else.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Don't
right.
get him on clip.
Leo the legend. Anyway, so what we basically do is we offer this service to protect them. So we can give them a non-compete. We can also, like, I'm looking and talking to accountants at the moment. They do a lot of payroll. I take the heartache over for a fee, starting as low as $39 a month plus $6 per employee. And they can white label it. So they can actually say this is an added service and under their brand.
Wow.
So a lot of people are coming to us. Insurance agents are coming to us because they can offer this to the clients with the confidence that we're not going to go after their insurance.
Right.
So it's ensuring that the partnership can be, is solid like ours, my
Absolutely.
friend. That's
Absolutely.
right.
So the
It's been
payroll, you gave us
fantastic.
an idea what it costs. What about direct deposit? Is that, because that stuff's usually extra, isn't it?
The nice thing about it is, as I'm looking and referring here to my agency page, the direct deposit doesn't cost anything. The good thing is that we don't have hidden fees. Everything's up front. The reason why I'm affiliated with this is it's good. And, it's my reputation. I'm going out to friends and colleagues and saying, hey, you need to get on board with this. Not only is it competitive pricing, but you're dealing with, a person every day, the same person every day. So it's not the case where you ring up and you speak to Theo or Leo or whichever who's turning up on the day. You're actually going to continue to develop that relationship. So it makes it easier so they understand your needs and expectations. That's what I like about it.
So are you doing any type of additional HR support or anything like that?
Oh, this is fantastic. Thanks for saying that. You just saved me.
Curious.
So I know, HR. So we actually have a HR portal and there's a hotline. So for me, a small business owner, I don't want to continue to have to pay $175 to Mr. Stillman, but we love him. So what this does is that I can actually ring somebody and talk to this person and they can give me advice. And that's included in part of our payroll solutions. So it's a nice add-on service.
All right, real quick. Just to finalize segment number 2, how do Australians say large?
Oh, she always gets me to do this. You say large.
Large.
My husband's American, so he says large. And we say large.
Large.
You got to do it the other way around.
All right, I'll do large. I can't
Your
say
American accent's very good, though.
I know.
You've been
It's
practicing very
almost
well.
like it is so good. I have to say it in slow motion. That's how good it is, my friend.
Doing great.
I know. It's
I just want to
so.
hang out with this one.
Is it kind of like making fun of hillbillies, like Australians? Is that what it feels
Do you
like?
know what gets me is when I first come here. This is going to sound really bad.
That's okay.
But if I spoke to somebody and they had a real Southern accent, I was like, I know that you're smart and it's just your accent, right? Because to us, I never heard that before, and we talk so fast.
All right, it's Tampa Home Talk. Stick around. We'll be back.
Good morning. Welcome back. This is Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Inspection. We've just done a little shuffle in here. We now have Amanda with A1 Gutter Solutions. How you doing, Amanda?
I'm doing good.
Wait, we're missing one. Who's your sidekick with you?
This is my husband, Mike. He's the man, the myth, the legend.
Hi, Mike, the man, the myth, and the legend. We're glad you're here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thanks for joining us. And so we're going to shift gutters a little bit. We're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about gutters. And I know Danielle would love to chime in on that here and there. So we'll talk right away about gutters and the benefits, because so many of the builders do not build with gutters. And people
Or
add
offer
them
'em.
later.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't want anything to do with them.
Yeah, they don't even want to offer them. There must be no money to make off of them.
No.
They're not
No.
making money and they don't want the expense. And, they can build without it. So
Right.
It's usually the last option, too, when it comes in. They don't.
There's no regulation, so they don't have to put them on.
that makes a valid point. Leo, you don't have anything to say about that in terms of codes or regulation? You see stuff all the time without gutters, how it does damage to the outside foundation of properties.
Gutters are an interesting thing in our world. We recommend them because they help with drainage and they help with preventing settlement. But there's so many bad gutter companies out there. They damage roof lines. They destroy roofs. Downspouts get kicked away, so you actually create jets to worsen your foundation. So it's and people don't maintain them, so you get trees growing out of them. So a good set of gutters that's properly maintained should be on every home. Especially a safety concern for me is when you're walking in and out of your home. If you have that sheet of rain coming off the front door, that's a big area for trips, falls, and slips. Highly recommend gutters, but maintain them.
And make sure that you know who you're getting them put on, who's putting them on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
So let's talk about the benefits of gutters and installing them properly,
Yeah,
shall we?
you don't want someone installing gutters, and I see this all the time where someone spends $1,700, $2,500 to put on gutters, and now they have to spend $8,000 to replace the roof, and that's what you don't want to have happen.
I can tell you this. All of our guests for Tampa Home Talk are either introduced by one of our customers that's used your services and you did an amazing job. You have amazing reviews on a topic we want to cover, or you're a business connection and we can verify your reviews and some of your work.
And that's why I tell the horror stories of not using people who are on our show.
Yeah.
Right. That's why we're #1 seamless gutter solutions. There was no standards in the industry. And when Mike got out of the sheet metal union and decided to do just gutter, after doing architectural roofing, we decided that there needed to be some process and some standards, because there was none. There was no licensing. And
What made you want to do gutters?
It's something I did in the sheet metal union. I was an architectural sheet metal worker.
which is metal roofing.
Right.
Gutters is like the easiest part of metal roofing. So
You don't have to walk a roof.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
And the homes they build in Florida, they don't put any gutters on them, so there's a lot.
Now, are there different types of gutters? Because I see the ones with like the leaf
Definitely.
cover and stuff like that. So what are there variations and what are there?
Yes, there's seamless gutters, mostly 6-inch. Seamless is what they use. We have a machine that we pull up to the house with, and we can run exact measurements, so there are no seams in the actual gutters to keep them from leaking.
yeah, we also do custom gutter in 7-inch, 8-inch, half rounds, and
Half rounds are nice. They're more historic.
Yeah.
Leo, what's more important about having a seamless gutter versus a seam or a cut in the gutter?
Well, I mean, it just, as you said, and I've said before, like with a seam, that's basically a point where water can corrode. Water gets between the seam, starts corroding your gutter, and they start leaking. Seamless, you don't have that issue. It's one continuous piece of metal or plastic or PVC or whatever material it is, and it extends down, so you're less likely to have leaks. You're less likely to have, like when your shingles, the granules start falling into the gutters, they're less likely to get caught in that seam because there is no seam. So I highly recommend the
Right.
seamless approach.
Right. On the seamless, though, there are seams, as you would call them, on the inside-outside miters, but the machines that run, they can run, the coils are usually a little over 600 feet, so you could run a seamless piece out, but when you come into inside-outside miters, you have to, which is why when we started, we created the lifetime warranty on leaks where there was none, and I think the entire state of Florida has now caught on to the lifetime warranty. The caulking wears down usually around 6 to 7 years later, and that needs to be heated up and pulled out and put new in.
That's a good question or a topic to cover is the maintenance on gutters.
Yeah, you can't just install gutter and never think about it again. You do need a maintenance program, which we start at $279 for the year. You can get into the
Well
maintenance
worth it.
program.
And so
That's
talk about
well
that.
worth
What
it.
is the maintenance? What are you doing?
We're coming by 3 times a year, getting on the roof and making sure that everything is still flowing. A lot of things can get in the gutter if you don't cap them off with leaf protection.
So you guys are cleaning out any debris that's in there,
Yes.
and are you putting the leaf protectors on
We
there?
you can purchase it. We're not real pushy, so we'll put as little or as much on there that you want, and as well as gutter.
So if somebody has the protection with you, whether they have the leaf filters or they don't, are you guys cleaning them out?
You do. You still, even if you get leaf protection, you still need to keep the roof clean, and you still need to get up there and check and make sure hangers aren't loose or trees haven't hit the gutter or downspouts are
there's a nest.
secure. Yes, right. This year we had a bird's nest in our garage gutter that filled the whole thing up with, and I didn't think we needed leaf guard, but apparently the bird's nest, chose to change our
What
mind
kind of
on
stuff
that.
have you seen in gutters, Leo? I know you've seen trees, right? Like that's the obvious, but what else? I never
Sure.
thought of a bird nest.
Yeah,
Yes.
bird nests, rat nests, mouse nests.
Snake
Well, then
eggs.
Snake
you
eggs.
also find whatever the bird brought up there. We found
Yeah.
candy wrappers. We
Oh,
found
sure.
all kinds of stuff, like
Probably
anything,
rodents and
anything that the bird
anything.
uses to
I mean,
make
you got to
the
think of
nest.
it like this: a mating bald eagle couple, their nest can get up to 1 ton in weight. So even these smaller birds, their nests start weighing, and once you start adding weight to your gutters, it starts pulling it off the eaves. It start messing with the pitch. Now it can't drain properly.
It's crazy that a little animal can make something so
What about a
heavy.
mud dauber? What are those? That's what they're called. Those mud daubers.
Those are the wasps.
I have seen those, the size of a foyer, the
Wow.
size of an
Yeah,
entry.
I mean, it's
front
very like a
entry.
gutter maintenance program. If you're listening, and if I can just get one thing across in these past 2 hours, is get on a gutter maintenance program, and don't do it yourself. It's a very dangerous part of. It's like the edge of your roof.
My dad broke his neck doing it himself.
And when you're putting ladders up against the roof and you're putting ladders up against a gutter, you're damaging them.
Right.
Hire a professional. Get on a gutter maintenance plan.
Yeah, like me, I'm afraid 1 foot off the ground, so I'm definitely not getting on the
Right.
roof.
Yeah, I mean-
I agree with you. And you do have to hire a reputable company. A lot of these companies go and they clean the gutter out, but they forget about the downspouts or the underground drainage that's attached to it. So even though you're cleaning the gutter, it's still possibly not working.
So you guys are cleaning everything all the way out.
Everything.
Whole system, making sure it's working.
Everything.
Well worth the money. I mean,
Applying
it's not something you want to do
caulk,
yourself.
Right.
Yes.
I mean,
A
you
lot of
can, but
times
it's not worth the injury.
No.
The leaves will get in there and they actually turn to dirt and you
And
get
build a
worms
dam,
and
yeah.
everything. It's really good compost for the
So
leaves.
do the gutters come in any other colors? Because I've seen white and I've seen brown.
Many colors.
Yeah, many colors in aluminum, and there's copper also, but there's usually around 32 colors that you can choose.
Yeah, is it
Wow,
coating?
32 colors. I would
I've
have
seen
never
literally
known.
white and
I've
brown.
literally
There-
seen
there's
white
a-
and tan
there's
and brown.
a material called Galvalume, which is what it
Yes,
sounds like.
which we install a lot
and
of.
it comes with a Kynar coating, and that Kynar coating, that powder coat, could be any color.
Any color.
Can you explain all that? Like,
So it's basically
Powder
Galvalume's a
dipped.
type of metal. Powder coating is basically just imagine someone spray painting it
Got it.
in a factory for simplicity. So yeah, you can get them in any colors. I've seen them architectural gutters that need to match a certain like either
Profile.
profile or trim or roof color. I mean, they come in all different colors.
what about on the front of the house? You get like, because sometimes it look weird right on the front of the house with some of these pitches and angles.
Well, that's where you come into using, a reputable company or a handyman to install the gutter. It's important. I'm a visual person, so we're pretty picky about the way the gutters look.
Yes, it's got to be up there correct. You want to make sure it's pitching. Downspouts, you want to kind of put them on the sides of the home so you don't see them right from the front.
And then
so
it's
much.
also important when you have steeper roofs that the one side of the gutter actually is taller than the other side, because if the roof is too steep, you can have a gutter system, but there's something called overshooting the gutters.
Yeah.
So like you don't even have a gutter system
is
at
that
all.
where it's
Right.
spilling out?
It literally runs right off like a
Yeah.
waterfall.
Yeah, it just runs right off the top.
Right
It
off
doesn't
the
even
top.
go into the gutter. So the two ways to fix that is to get an oversized gutter, or to get a gutter that basically has a lip that goes up. And then if you get the wrong company designing that lip, it's going to look horrendous.
It's almost like
That's a
imagining
really
a
good
water
point.
slide, like the curve of a water slide. You've got to get that lip, or somebody would flop over the side.
This
It's
happens
like
a
that.
lot actually on barrel tile roofs or metal roofs. People don't want to pay enough for the larger gutter when they really need it, and you get a lot of overshooting. We've had companies that will put 6-inch on tile, and they end up having to go and put a shield all the way around the house. So they're
Oh,
like
and then it
installing
looks- that
twice.
looks bad,
when it
too.
just they just need to use the bigger gutter and
And if you think about
downspouts.
it, you probably do have gutter systems, and you have some what we call valleys, is where two roof pitches meet. You
Yes.
probably have a small shield piece there anyway, so you
Right.
can look on
Valley
your
shield.
own.
Yes.
You can look on your own house to see that kind of shielding.
So I guess let me ask the $1 million question. Like, how much do gutters cost? And I know it totally depends on the house.
Yeah, I think gutters right now are running anywhere from $4 to $13 a foot for residential. We do commercial too, which goes past that. But
So on an average home, let's say it's 2,000 square feet. I know
we're-
it depends on the
even
style.
even though it's 2,000 square feet, we're measuring the outside of the home. So
Yeah,
linear
'cause-
footage, could be around 300 feet or something like that for a house like that.
What's the range in something that size? Like, how many square feet do you see?
Let's just do a standard boring box subdivision.
So usually it's a couple hundred feet,
Yes,
linear feet.
usually a couple hundred feet.
So,
So
you're
what would
usually
that be?
around 1,500 probably.
For the whole
That's not
property.
Yeah, I would say so. That's the ballpark range there.
And the protection that the gutter gives your house.
Oh yeah,
Forget
from
it. Yeah.
the settlement, from the divots created, from
And your
the
landscaping.
the landscaping.
It'll destroy your
Yeah.
landscaping to not have gutters.
and from the potential falling and tripping as you come out of your house with your hands over your head trying to dodge the
Yeah.
rainfall.
And if the property's not sloped right too, we offer drainage so we can take that rainwater that we've collected and get it even further away from the home.
So
if
you
it's
guys
gonna
are you
pool.
doing the underground?
We do underground drainage as well.
Underground drainage is the smartest thing that
I
I've
actually
ever
have a
seen.
customer you should
I have
talk
a
to.
customer too. Like, I need your card. Jenny.
813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775.
Yeah.
Text the word gutter,
Yep.
Yeah.
and we will
I have a
hook you
really
up.
good friend that every time it rains, she has a lake in her backyard. And it's
Oh,
not
wow.
really her fault as much as it's her neighbors.
That's what I was thinking. It can be your neighbors because that customer.
She's willing to
knows.
pay to have her neighbor's gutter spout fixed.
Really?
That's how bad it is.
Wow.
Sometimes with the way they roll too, like this particular house I'm thinking of, the one behind it's higher, and so they really need to.
They need an
Yeah.
underground gutter just to push it out into the street, and
Yeah,
it would be
something
done and
like
over
that.
with.
We like to cut the gutter back and pitch it all one direction. Maybe put a larger spout in, and then tie into drainage and get it really far away.
Are you guys
from the
doing
home.
French drains too?
Not usually.
different,
We want
right?
a
No, that's
specialist
more
to do
like
something.
the foundation.
Okay. All right. If you want some gutter information, and we'll see what we can talk to them about a promotion for our listeners.
Yeah,
Text
absolutely.
813-377-2775 if you want some information, or you want to check out the gutter maintenance program. That sounds like a deal.
Yeah, look up
does.
A #1 Seamless Gutter Solutions. We'd love to help you.
And we'll text you their info. 813-377-2775.